Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing this week?
I am so excited. We are going to talk about Disney cruising, which is one of my absolute favorite ways to vacation.
Well, and it's one of the things that I like to hear you talk about the most, because out of everything that Disney has in their portfolio, this is something that was so close to Walt's passion as far as traveling the world on boats and trains and things like that. So anytime we talk cruise line, I'm excited. I think we're going to talk tonight primarily about the information that was given to us about the Disney Destiny. But I do think it's important before we do that, give us a Cliff's Notes version of the history of Disney Cruise Line.
So began back in 1998, the Disney Magic, the original gorgeous ship. And it's all about the details. And we see the details get more and more with each ship. But one of the big things that they're known for is what character is hanging off the back of the ship. So the original, that Disney Magic, had Goofy off the back. A year later, in 1999, the Disney Wonder came along, Donald and his nephews. We had a big break there all the way to 2011 till we saw the Disney Dream, 40% larger ship than the Magic and the Wonder. Really went up in size and scope, and just the technology and the changes in all those years allowed them to really deep dive into enhancing the ship so much. So we've got the Dream with Sorcerer Mickey off the back. A year later, 2012, the sister ship, the Fantasy, with Dumbo off the back. Again, another 10-year break. They seem to have that pattern up until recently. 2022, we had the Disney Wish. Hard to believe it wasn't even 2 years ago that ship came along, and so many bells and whistles. Rapunzel hanging off the back. You can actually, unique for that ship, is the only one where you can view what is hanging off the back of the ship from one of the dining rooms.
Oh, cool.
And now we've got things that we don't even know yet. We haven't been on, but I can't wait. I have a reservation on the brand new Disney Treasure that just did its float out in the shipyard in Germany 2 days ago. It will be sailing December 2024. And of course, with a name like Treasure, it has Peter Pan off the back.
Yeah, it's nice.
There's a little change in their plan. They bought a partially built ship, and we don't have who's going to be on the back of it, and we don't have a lot of details because the basic of the ship was built, and now they're working on the interior. And I think they're not giving quite as many details on the adventure because we are never going to see it here in the U.S. It is going to be sailing out of Singapore. And I personally can't wait to go to Singapore. I've been researching all my land time, and then I will hop on the adventure. But the newest to the fleet will be the Disney Destiny, coming in November of 2025. And this one is so unique because we've talked before. I know this is your favorite passion to talk about, Jeff.
Yeah.
All of the IP that Disney owns, and how, although they have bought Marvel, Universal in Orlando really has a lock on that from their previous contract with Marvel. Walt Disney World can't bring in those Marvel characters. But Fort Lauderdale is far enough away that the new Destiny sailing out of Fort Lauderdale will have Spider-Man and Marvel. Spider-Man on the back, and we'll talk in a minute about Marvel in the Grand Hall.
I mean, it's just super exciting for somebody that's really into the Marvel properties. It's a really, really cool thing. I think it's incredible to me that out of everything that they own, when we see the first departure from, I guess, traditional Disney, I guess. I mean, Rapunzel, I guess, is maybe not necessarily traditional Disney, but it's close enough in my estimation.
Like the princess theme is there.
Yeah, like we go Spider-Man. And I think that that's a really cool nod, not only to what they have purchased there, but a really cool nod to who Marvel is, because Spider-Man's an original gangster over there in the Marvel properties.
It's pretty bold that they're putting Spider-Man out there. I feel like we say this often, but this is going to be the most thematic ship we have ever seen. And we have so many details already, and we know they're holding back a lot. So I'm going to give you things to get you excited tonight, but I guarantee you, 15 months from now, when we're doing another episode where I've just come off the ship, it's going to be a big wow.
All right. Well, you named a bunch of these ships, so let's focus on the differences when it comes to the Destiny, because I know that as the travel specialist, you've been given just a tremendous amount of information to share with everybody. So let's focus on the differences, and let's begin really where you said, which is in that Grand Hall.
You bet. And I think one of the things that we always see with Disney is there's some commonality and continuity from ship to ship. You get some of those same feels and those great vibes and certain things. And the Grand Hall has certainly gotten grander as the ship has gotten bigger. We are again going to have a large 3-story Grand Hall. Again, different than we've ever seen. It's got a lot of beige tones and sparkle to it. But again, you mentioned a minute ago, that departure from their lobby character that's always so popular, the first thing most people take pictures with once they actually get on the ship out of the port. Black Panther is going to be the star of our Grand Hall.
That's cool.
So again, let's talk about, the Disney Wish just had Cinderella. We've got Mickey, we've got Minnie. This is really all out, and I think we're going to talk about so many themes, but I bet you we're going to see a lot more Marvel embedded, and more importantly, it's not going to, Marvel Day at Sea is still going to be a thing, and they're going to have extras, but I am willing to bet we're going to see more Marvel characters on board, more Marvel drawing opportunities. They're really going to play into that for those of you that love it. But I will say one of the great things about the ships is there's so much to do that if you're not a Marvel fan, you can avoid the majority of it.
Well, and that goes to the same for the other ships, too. I mean, there are plenty of people that have gone on them, and they haven't even been paying attention to the fact that Mickey and Minnie exist. I mean, that's if you wanted to be on an adults-only part of the boat, you would maybe have a hard time even knowing that's what it was, if that's what you were attempting to get away from.
So true.
All right, so let's talk about the rooms, because every time we do these shows about the ships, there's so much information about the rooms. I know that this is no different. So why don't you I'm going to let you just kind of go. If I have a question, I'm going to stop you, because I know there's so much information here.
And I normally go from bottom to top, but I am going to go from top to bottom, because the newest suites on this ship are truly incredible, which is why the top 2 suites are the Incredi suites.
Fun.
Again, a lot of theming here. We've got a 1-story royal suite and a 2-story royal suite. We've got 2 that are Incredible themed and 2 that are Big Hero themed. So again, I like that they're really bringing some of the things that I'm going to say. Big Hero isn't the most popular thing they've had, but there are some major Big Hero fans, big Raya fans, big Brave fans. And so we're seeing a lot of different things, but we're also seeing a nod to some of the older things. We're going to talk about Hercules and Fantasia. We're going to see what we've really seen before. There's going to be no wild new category that you haven't heard of before. We've got numbers from 4 through 11, then they sparkle that letter after it, A, B, C, D, E, depending on the category, which is about location. So we'll start with theming. There's Hercules theme, as I said. It's going to be available in all of the standard staterooms. So standard inside, deluxe family, that room that so many love for that extra space and a sleeps 5 option. Navigator's veranda, full veranda, and family veranda room.
Okay. And that was Hercules that you said.
That was Hercules. Moving on to Mulan, we're going to see it in all of the categories except for the deluxe ocean.
Okay.
With the Navigator's veranda. That tends to have a lot more of a limitation on how many of those rooms there are.
Got it.
They've got Brave and Raya and the Last Dragon in all of those standard room categories.
Yeah, we just watched Raya again for the. We had a little bit of break, and now we just watched Raya again. I think it's interesting as you're going through some of these. I wonder if there's some sort of data that they're tracking on Disney Plus to see, what kind of viewership traffic these properties are getting, and maybe that could be influencing some of it too.
Maybe, but again, look at it. It's kind of a neat mix of things. I'm not a person who goes with boy rooms and girl rooms. Boys can love Raya, girls can love Hercules and Big Hero.
Sure, yeah.
So pick the theme that your family loves. Big Hero 6 and Incredibles are on the standard inside rooms, deluxe ocean, and deluxe family with veranda. Extremely limited are the Fantasia themed rooms, but those are all of the concierge rooms minus those big suites. So lots of different opportunities. Again, over 1,200 rooms here.
Wow.
So just so many choices. And, some people pick on themes. Some people pick strictly on location. I want to be on deck 2. I want to be on deck 11. Others honestly pick 100% on price. And I will also say, if you've never booked a Disney cruise, but you're booking more last minute, many will take that savings from what we call an IGT, an OGT, or a VGT, that category guarantee where you get a great rate because Disney's going to pick your room. So you don't have say over your theme. You don't get to pick which deck you're on. You don't get to pick, am I forward, am I aft, am I midship? But sometimes, as much as I love a good theme, I also love a good savings.
I was going to say, I also love a good price.
I look at it this way. The more money I save, the more I can give them on the next trip. They like that theory.
Now, I know we said we were going to talk about differences, but I want to make one comparison because you did say there's over 1,200 rooms. Give us like how that compares to some of the other ships that you talked about from the Dream to the Treasure, et cetera.
With the newer ships, that is really where we have found them. Thankfully, we don't get bigger. Some of the other cruise lines are just creating these cities.
Yeah.
And you wonder how you get there. The original ships, the Magic and the Wonder, are about 40% smaller. But I think they've kind of figured out that 1,250 is the sweet spot for rooms. And remember, there's no telling the exact number of people. It can vary greatly because the rooms that hold 4 people could sail with 4 people, but they could also sail with 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
So don't take that 1,250 and automatically multiply by 4 to get the number of people sailing. It is going to vary on every cruise.
Okay. So one of the things that we talk about constantly when we break down these Disney Cruise Line shows is the rotational dining. So let's talk about dining. My assumption is rotational dining exists on this ship as well, but I'm going to let you kind of go and lay out what we have in the world of dining.
Rotational dining definitely exists. And if you don't know what that is, it's one of the real hallmarks for Disney. They created a dining system where there are 3 different main dining rooms, each incredibly themed. And you will rotate through all 3, depending on the length of your cruise, back into some a second or a third time. Your table mates and your serving team, and maybe an unfinished bottle of wine, will rotate with you. So
that sounded like an anecdote coming out of you there. I'm not going to lie. It sounded like an anecdote, maybe an unfinished bottle of wine. It might have been something you've lived before.
Thanks for giving me the credit of not finishing the bottle.
All right. So what restaurants are we seeing on this ship?
So what we've seen with all of the ships is, again, there's that continuity and the familiarity that people want to see things. So World of Marvel obviously is returning on this ship after everything we just talked about.
Yep.
A very highly interactive dining experience, both through video screens while you're eating, communicators on your table that'll interact with your magic band, and live characters coming through the dining room.
Okay.
1923, a nod to when the Disney Corporation was founded. Lots of artwork and renderings and kind of watching all of these different movie themes that we've talked about, how they came to life. The newest dining room that I just can't wait to see, maybe I just can't wait to be king, is going to be Pride Land's Festival of the Lion King.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
If you've been a long-time listener of the show, you know my family is Lion King fanatic. So when they made this announcement, we were through the roof excited about it. One of the things that we've seen on the ships recently is they've taken one dining room and made like a live theater element to it. So there will be live characters on a stage in the middle, singing, dancing. A lot of it happens right after the waitstaff takes your order while you're waiting for your appetizers, and then usually while you're enjoying the first and second course. I'm going to guess, though they haven't shared this yet, this is totally a guess on my part, there will be an interactive part of this. They really get people involved. It wouldn't surprise me that there's kids' menus that are shaped somehow to be hats of the Pride Land, and the kids will do a little parade around the restaurant. That would be very on par for what we've seen.
I'm sitting here and all I can think of is please be trampolines and have tumble monkeys in the middle of this restaurant. That's all I can think of. I'm going to the Lion Festival, the Lion King and Animal Kingdom. I know it's probably not going to happen, but that's all my brain can get to.
Because I can 99% guarantee there will be no tumble monkeys.
Oh, it's so sad.
Just because the stage that they have normally doesn't allow for it, as well as the very low ceilings.
Of course it's not, but that's where my brain went.
But yes, it's going to be hard to have a live Lion King without a tumble monkey, but we'll see.
We'll have to survive it.
I'm sure they'll come up with something that amazes us.
So obviously you've got those rotational dining rooms, but then there's also a plenty of other places for people to go. Lounges are a huge part of cruising in Disney Cruise Line. So break some of that down too.
Two new ones that we haven't heard of before, Cape Megara and Merida, obviously after some of our favorite princesses. And it's all going to be about animation. And again, we saw a lot of that on the Wish. So you're going to see the Grand Hall is going to give you some of that inspiration, but we'll have Hercules and Brave in these lounges, kind of expanding on the Cove Cafe that we've seen. Coffee, tea, specialty beverages, and snacks. That's going to be during the day, but lounges are really big on the Disney ship. During the day, they are all open to anyone. You'll find trivia, arts and crafts, family games, all kinds of bingo, of course, all kinds of fun things going on. And then at night, they turn into 21 and over.
Right.
And I think we'll find plenty of people in Devils, the piano lounge bar. Obviously, it is Cruella themed.
Sure.
The Dalmatian spotted piano, the black and red tones in the carpeting and the wall covering. A great spot for limited live music, a great cocktail, and to gather with friends.
I'm picturing the lighting. I can see the lighting design in that particular one. Go ahead. What's next?
I'm waiting to see if we're going to be able to sit in a car.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. All of that. Right.
Back with Cruella's jacket for us all to try on.
Yeah. The fabric on the bar stools is going to be Dalmatian. 100%.
They can feel free to give us royalties if they're listening and taking our ideas.
They are. They are.
We've got the vision right there with the Imagineers.
That's it. Okay. What else?
Right off of the lobby, they're doing a large lounge as the spot to meet some characters, do some extra games, and it's going to be Wakanda themed. So again, look at all that IP that they can't use elsewhere, but they can use when we get out to sea. Again, I think I will admit to being a little bit overwhelmed with the number of unique themes on this ship. I think I'm going to need a week on there just to get it all, because the next two lounges are also amazing. A haunted mansion parlor.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I assume we're going to see similar, I think, for all of these lounges to what we saw on the Wish. They're going to be using a reservation system in the beginning because people are going to want to soak in all those details. I'm guessing that haunted mansion is going to have some interactive features. I'm seeing haunted mansion kind of Trader Sam's vibe to it. I think it's going to be an amazing spot to be.
That's awesome.
And again, they like to make the lounges a little more intimate, which I know is hard to say when you're on a ship with 35 to 4,000 people, 3,500 to 4,000 people. But they do a lot of these small lounges so that they may be seats, some of them as little as 60, 70, 80, and you will get to really enjoy it. So our last theme lounge is Cask and Cannon, which is going to have Pirates of the Caribbean scenes and characters in it. So
very cool.
Should be interesting. Hopefully you're not walking the plank.
All right. So you just went over some adult areas where we're going to spend some time at night. But one of the huge things that draws the attention of families that travel on these things are the kids clubs. So talk to me a little bit about the kids clubs.
We're not going to see a big change. And I think that's because they really got that down pat. The kids love what they love. They love the characters. They love the Star Wars, the Incredibles, the princesses, and the rooms are going to lay out to hold similar things. They want computer time. They want art time. They want climbing time, game time. We're going to see all of that.
Got it.
One of the other things we're going to see is similar to what we saw in the Wish. They're going to have that big family game room different from the kids' clubs, where there's ping pong tables and, of course, at limited times, the amazing blow-up and credit course.
Very
good
cool.
optical fun for the family.
Yeah, that's right in my son's wheelhouse right there. All right, listen, anything that we haven't mentioned, any extras that you think are worth or bringing up?
I think one of the unique things we're going to see here, every ship has had a sweet shop. I'm excited to see the Zootopia one coming. We've got an Inside Out one. On this ship, we do have a lot more of a nod to Incredibles. So Edna Mode is going to be our hostess here.
Very cool. Nice. You're not getting outfits. You're getting candy or some sweets instead.
You're getting candy.
Lovely, darling. Lovely. I'm very excited about it. Well, listen, I am, I think, out of any of the ships that we've talked about in the time doing this show and in conversation between you and I, this is, to me, the most exciting. Like, I am definitely the most excited for this ship. This is something that I think my family would definitely be into. Talk to me before we say goodbye when we can start to book our experience.
It's so hard for me. I can't wait to get on the Destiny, but I'm also dying to get on the Treasure. We've never really had so much detail so far in advance that we've kind of got two ships competing in our for our headspace.
Yeah.
But Disney Cruises, again, they book as far out as you can because they use dynamic pricing. That means the more people that are booked in that category, the more expensive the cabin is going to be. So although the ship won't start to sail till November of 2025, and although I can't give you any more information than it's sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, we do not have itineraries and dates yet. We are getting them soon. But I do know that booking for this ship will begin on September 6th. And it's a 6-day process. So depending on your castaway status, whether you're a DVC member, an Adventure Insider, a Club 33 member, or just dying to take your first Disney cruise, that'll depend on your booking date. So keep following along, reach out. We'd love to give you those itineraries as soon as we have it, because there's going to be some great things to see on opening day.
Well, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, as somebody that when I took my very first cruise, I booked it through you, and it was a seamless experience. It was a wonderful experience. Very, very highly recommended. So just like everything else, but I can tell you definitely Disney Cruise Line, contact those folks at EasyDiz because they're going to get it right for you. I appreciate you taking the time this week to talk about this awesome new ship, and have a great week.
You too. Happy sailing, everyone.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share and have them like and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at EasyDiz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.